$87,000. That's the average amount people lose in retirement because they left work at the wrong time. Too early or too late. If you're thinking about retiring in the next few months but aren't sure if you're ready, sign up now. Quick question. How much does it cost to retire at the wrong time? $20,000? $50,000? $100,000? Each video I make shows a retirement timing mistake that costs tens of thousands and how to avoid it. If you don't sign up and miss the video about the mistake that applies to you, it could cost you everything. Sign up now. It's free. But retiring at the wrong time costs a fortune. Millions of Americans between the ages of 60 and 65 are in this same situation right now. Tired of working, dreaming of retirement, but afraid to leave and discover they don't have enough money. I spent 2 weeks analyzing retirement financial planning data, comparing people who retired successfully with people who retired and regretted it, identifying the 3 calculations that separate a comfortable retirement from a financial disaster. Let me show you the 3 numbers you need to know before making the decision. I'm going to show you exactly 3 things. Number 1, the 28-year test. How much money you need to have saved to survive from retirement to 90 years old without going broke. Number 2, the 4% rule. How to calculate how much you can spend per year without depleting your savings. Number 3, the hidden cost of the first 5 years. Why the first 5 years of retirement are the most expensive and how to prepare for it. Before continuing, click the like button right now. It takes 2 seconds, and it helps people who are struggling with this same decision find this video. Let's go. Let me tell you about Ricardo. Ricardo is 63 years old. He's worked as a sales manager for 35 years, waking up at 6 in the morning. Traffic. Meetings. Pressure. Stress. Ricardo is exhausted. He looks at his bank account. $250,000 saved. Social Security at 62 would be $1,900 a month. Ricardo thinks, I have $250,000 saved. I have Social Security. I can stop now. Ricardo quits his job. The first week of retirement is wonderful. He sleeps late, watches TV, relaxes. The second week too. Third month, Ricardo looks at his bank account. $242,000. $1,000 less in 3 months. He panics. At this rate, in less than 8 years the money will run out. Ricardo is 63. If the money runs out at 71, he still has at least 15, 20 years of life ahead of him. How will he survive? Ricardo goes back to work. 64 years old. Back to the traffic. Back to the stress. But now he's frustrated knowing he tried to retire and failed. And you know what? Ricardo's fear is justified because he made the wrong calculations before leaving. He looked at how much he had saved. He didn't look at how much he needed to have saved. Let me show you the math Ricardo didn't do. Look at this life expectancy chart. This shows how long, on average, a person lives after retiring. 63-year-old man, average life expectancy to 82. 63-year-old woman, average life expectancy to 85. But these are averages. 50% live longer than that. If you have good health, don't smoke, and exercise, you can easily live to 90. Sounds good to live a long time, right? IT is good. But financially, it means your money needs to last longer. It's wrong to think you only need money until 80. You need to plan until 90. Because if you live that long and the money runs out at 80, the last 10 years of your life will be misery. And there are 3 calculations that determine whether you're ready or if you'll end up like Ricardo. And when you don't do these calculations before leaving, everything falls apart. Calculation number 1, the 28-year test. Let's do the math together. Pay close attention because this calculation determines whether you can retire now or if you need to work a few more years. If you retire at 62 and live to 90, that's 28 years of retirement. How much money do you need to live 28 years? It depends on how much you spend per year. Let's start with expenses. Most people spend between $3,000 and $5,000 a month in retirement. This includes housing, food, transportation, health, leisure, everything. Let's use $1,000 a month as an example. The $1,000 a month is $48,000 a year. $48,000 a year times 28 years is $1,344,000. $1,344,000. That's the TOTAL amount you'll spend in 28 years of retirement. Now, you don't need to have $1,300,000 saved on the day you retire. Why? Because you have Social Security, and because your saved money will earn while you use it. Let's calculate how much Social Security covers. If you start at 62 with $1,900 per month, that's $22,800 per year. $22,800 per year times 28 years equals $638,400. Social Security will give you $638,000 over 28 years. You need to spend $1,344,000. Social Security covers $638,000. You're missing $706,000. This $706,000 needs to come from your savings. Do you have $706,000 saved? Most people don't. The average American between 55 and 64 years old has $135,000 saved. Far from $706,000. Now comes the part that saves many people: returns. If you have $300,000 saved and invest at a conservative rate of 5% per year while you withdraw money to live, that money continues to grow. It doesn't grow as fast as you spend it, but it does grow. This extends how long the money lasts. With $300,000 invested at 5%, withdrawing $35,000 a year to supplement Social Security, the money lasts approximately 12 years, not 20-8.12. If you retire at 62, by 74 the money runs out, and you still have 16 years until 90. For those 16 years you live only on Social Security. $1,900 a month, $22,800 a year. Can you survive on that? It depends. If your house is paid off, no debt, low expenses, maybe. If you still pay rent or a mortgage, probably not. But here's what nobody tells you about the 28-year. Test. If you wait 3 more years to retire, the numbers change completely. If you work until 65, you have 3 more years to save money. If you saved $1,000 a month during those 3 years, that's an additional $72,000. If you retire at 65 instead of 62, that's 25 years of retirement instead of 28. 3 fewer years of expenses, and your Social Security at 65 is higher. Let's say $2,400 instead of $1,900. $500 more per month. $6,000 per year. Over 25 years, that's $150,000 more in Social Security. Those 3 years of difference can be the difference between a comfortable retirement and a miserable retirement. But wait, you're thinking, but I'm tired now. I don't want to work 3 more years. I understand. But the question is, would you rather work 3 more years now when you still have energy, or be forced to go back to work at 70 when you're old, tired, and desperate? Because that's what happens. People retire too early. Money runs out, and they go back to work in minimum wage jobs because they have no choice. That's the reality. And that leads us to calculation number TWO. Calculation number TWO. The 4% rule. Let's calculate how much you can spend per year without going broke. The 4% rule says you can spend 4% of your TOTAL savings in the first year of retirement and adjust for inflation in subsequent years without depleting the money for at least 30 years. Let's do the math. You have $100,000 saved. 4% of $200,000 is $8,000. You can spend $8,000 in the first year, plus Social Security. If Social Security is $22,800, your total budget for the first year is $30,800. $30,800 per year is $2,566 per month. Can you live on $2,566 per month? If your house is paid off, no debts, simple lifestyle, maybe. If you have a mortgage, a financed car, high medical expenses, probably not. You have $300,000 saved. 4% is $12,000. plus 22,800 for Social Security. Total, 34,800 per year, 2,900 per month. A little better, but still tight. You have 500,000 saved. For percent is 20,000, plus 22,800. Total, 42,800 per year, 3,566 per month. Now you are breathing. 3,500 per month allows for a comfortable life if you are careful. You have 1 million saved. For percent is 40,000, plus 22,800. Total, 62,800 per year, 5,233 per month. You are comfortable. You can travel. You can help your children. You can live well. Now comes the critical question. How much do you have saved? And how much is for percent of that? Add that to your estimated Social Security. That is your annual budget. Can you live comfortably on that amount? If the answer is why yes, you are ready to retire. If the answer is maybe tight, you need to work a few more years or drastically reduce your standard of living. If the answer is no way, you are not ready. You need to keep working and saving. Before calculation 3, I need to know how much you have saved and when you want to retire. Here's why. The calculation of whether you're ready or not is completely different if you have 100,000 versus 300,000 versus 500,000 saved. And if you want to retire at 62 versus 65 versus 67. So comment, I have amount saved / I want to retire at age. And I will. Calculate if you are financially ready or if you need to work longer and how long. Your specific number based on your situation, not a generic estimate. I respond within an hour with your personalized readiness analysis. Okay, calculation 3. Calculation number 3. The hidden cost of the first 5 years. This calculation nitrogen monoxide 1 prepares you for. Not financial advisors. Not retirement books. No one. The first 5 years of retirement are the most expensive. Why? Because you still have energy. You want to travel. You want to do the things you've postponed your whole life. You want to enjoy yourself while you still can. And that costs money. Let's make a real list of extra expenses in the first 5 years. Travel. Most people spend between $10,000 and $20,000 on travel in the first 5 years of retirement. Home renovations. Now that you have time, you want to fix that faucet, paint the walls, replace the carpet. $5,000 to $15,000. New hobbies. Golf, fishing, gardening, photography. Initial equipment costs between $2,000 and $5,000. New car. Many people retire and buy a new car to enjoy themselves. $20,000 to $40,000 if financed, more if paid in cash. Help for children or grandchildren. You finally have time and want to help the family. $5,000 to $10,000 per year. Add it all up. In the first 5 years of retirement, you can easily spend $50,000 to $100,000 more than in subsequent years. 50 to 100,000 extra. Most people don't plan for this. They calculate their budget based on normal expenses. 3 for $1,000 a month. But in the first 5 years, expenses rise to $5,000, $6,000 a month. And suddenly, that money that should last 28 years is only lasting 15. Now you're 77 years old. Money's gone. 13 years of life ahead. And you're totally dependent on Social Security. No margin for emergencies. No margin for unexpected medical expenses. Living on the edge. This is the scenario most people face, because nobody warned them about the first 5 years. The solution? Set aside a separate fund for the first 5 years, in addition to your main savings. If you have $300,000 in total, set aside $50,000 specifically for the first 5 years. Keep those $50,000 in a separate place. Use it for travel, renovations, hobbies. And don't touch the other $150,000. Those $250,000 are for the 23 years AFT are the first 5. With this strategy, you enjoy the first few years without destroying your long-term plan. You have the freedom to live while you still can, and you have the security of knowing that the money for the rest of your life is protected. But you need to make this separation before you retire, not after. Because if you don't separate, you spend everything mixed together. And when it runs out, you panic. Now I know what you're thinking. But I worked 40 years. I deserve to enjoy myself. I deserve to travel. Why do I have to worry so much about money in retirement? You're absolutely right. You deserve to enjoy yourself. Here's the truth. Retirement isn't about not enjoying yourself. It's about enjoying yourself smartly. It's about spending money on the things that really matter to you and saving enough money so you don't go broke at 75. Because going broke at 75 is 1,000 times worse than working 2 or 3 more years now. When you're broke at 75, your options are gone. Nobody will hire you. You don't have the energy for hard work. You depend on the charity of your children or the government. Your dignity disappears. Versus working to more years now, you still have energy, you still have skills, you still have options. Those 2 years guarantee you never go through the humiliation of going broke in old age. Is it worth it? I think so. Second misconception, my friend retired at 60 with less money than me and he's doing well. Why can't I? Because his situation is different from yours. Maybe his house is paid off and yours isn't. Maybe he has no debts and you do. Maybe his social security is higher. Maybe he lives more simply. Don't compare your retirement to anyone else's. Compare it to your numbers. Third misconception. What if I die before 90? So I saved and worried for nothing? Possible. But what's the alternative? To retire without enough money and hope to die young. That's not planning. That's gambling. You plan to live to 90. If you die before, great, there's money left over for your children. If you live to 90, you're protected. Planning for the best case scenario and hope it works out is a recipe for disaster. Now that you've seen the 3 calculations that determine if you're ready to retire, here's what I want to know. Did you do these 3 calculations or are you guessing if you're ready? And based on the numbers, are you financially prepared to retire now, or do you need to work longer? Comment like this: I did the calculations, or I'm guessing and ready now, or I need to work longer. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to tell you if you're being realistic about your readiness or if you're underestimating how much money you really need. No judgment, just honest math showing if you can safely leave work or if you're putting yourself at risk. So comment if you calculated and your readiness status. I validate your decision or show you what you're not considering. Here's what you do now. Not tomorrow, today. Step 1. Take all your bills. Retirement, savings, investments. Add it all up. That's your total savings. Step TWO. Go to ssa.gov. Check how much you'll receive from Social Security at 62, 65, and 67. Write down those 3 numbers. Step 3. Calculate for % of your savings. Add that to Social Security. That's your annual budget. Divide by 12. That's your monthly budget. Step 4. Look at your bills from the last 6 months. How much do you spend per month on average? Compare that to the budget from Step 3. Can you live on that amount? If yes, you might be ready. If nitrogen monoxide, you need to work more or drastically cut expenses. Step 5. If the numbers are tight, calculate how much you need to save per month to reach the amount you need. How many more months or years do you need to work? Put that on the calendar. Work until date. After this, I'm financially secure to retire. If this video showed you the 3 calculations that determine if you're really ready to retire, click like now. Share it with someone who's tired of working but afraid to stop. They'll thank you. And here's something special. I'm doing free retirement readiness analyses for people who comment. Comment 5 things. 1. How much you have saved in total. 2. At what age do you want to retire? 3. How much you estimate your Social Security monthly? 4. Is your house paid off? Yes or no? 5. Do you have debts? Yes or no? Example, $300,000 x 63 years old x $2,000 x house paid off no x debts yes. I will analyze your specific numbers and tell you if you are financially ready to retire at the age you want or how much longer you need to work to be secure. Free analysis, but only if you comment. I can't analyze if I don't know your situation. I will respond within 24 hours with your complete readiness analysis. Look, the decision to retire shouldn't be based on how you feel tired, stressed, exhausted. Those feelings are real, but the decision needs to be based on numbers, because feelings fade. Numbers don't lie. If the numbers say you're ready, you can retire with confidence. If the numbers say you're not ready, working 2 or 3 more years now can save you from 20 years of financial misery later. You deserve a secure retirement, not a retirement of despair. Thank you for watching until the end. See you in the next video.